The kids are back in school, and if you're looking for some tasty, healthy lunch ideas that your kid will actually look forward to eating, I've got some great recipes for you. Hi, I'm Christine, and normally on this channel I'm using all plant-based ingredients, but today I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can prepare salmon along with a side of broccoli and carrots and homemade guacamole. Kids will love it, trust me. Today's ingredients are compliments of Basil Bandwagon Natural Market, one of my favorite places to shop. Alright, so what I have in here is 2 cans of salmon. This is 15 ounces total of wild salmon that's cooked. You could use your own fresh cooked if you prefer, but canned is a nice shortcut. And then what I have is 2 pastured eggs. You can use other eggs of your choice, but I really like the pastured eggs. And I'm just going to take a fork and mash up the salmon. We're going to add our eggs. I've got a 1/4 cup of chopped parsley. This is 1/3 cup of almond flour. You could always use 1/3 cup of flour of your choice. This is 2 scallions thinly sliced. And this is just a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm not going to add too much because the canned salmon is already a little bit salty, but just a little bit to taste. Just mix this all together. And once I've mixed this up, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes just to chill it and give it a little time to sort of absorb the almond flour before we form it into patties. But that's it, easy peasy, right? While I'm chilling my salmon mixture, I'm going to go ahead and make my sauce. So here I have 1/2 cup of avocado mayo, 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice, a tablespoon of fresh chopped dill, and this is 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Just basically stir this together and it's going to make delicious sauce for our salmon patties. I don't add additional salt and pepper, but you can if you like, and if you want to thin it out a little, you can always do that with just a tiny splash of water. Some people like to add prepared pickle relish to something like this, almost like a tartar sauce, but I love it just like this. Okay, so now that our salmon mixture has chilled, I'm going to just scoop out a little portion of it. Nice generous spoonful. This is probably like 3 tablespoons or so of the mixture. And I'm going to form it into a little patty. So first you kind of put it into like a meatball shape, and then just flatten it into a little patty like that. Depending how big you make your patties, you're going to get 6 to 8 patties. Bit there, and then I ended up with 7. Meanwhile, I'm going to start heating up my cast iron skillet and add a little coconut oil. So I'm using a cast iron skillet, but you can use another type of skillet if you like. I just like the kind of natural nonstick surface that a cast iron skillet has. I've got some coconut oil in there. That's about a tablespoon of refined coconut oil that I'm heating it up over medium heat, kind of more like medium-high heat. Over here I've got a plate lined with some paper towels to absorb the excess oil, and I've got my spatula ready to go. Okay, so once you have your oil all melted and the pan is hot and ready to go, you can go ahead and start putting your salmon patties on there. And we're going to let these fry over medium heat for about 5 minutes on one side. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. Let's see how they're cooking on one side. We're carefully turning them over to fry them on the other side. And I like to use the 2 spatula method here. You can see that I'm carefully turning it over onto another spatula for support, because they are a little fragile. Now, this is an ambitiously full skillet. If you would rather do them in 2 batches, feel free to do that. Oh, now that one's a little on the dark side. Okay, and now we're just going to cook them for 3 minutes on the other side. Okay, I've got the fan running because there's a lot of smoke going on here, so feel free to turn your vent on also for ventilation. I'm just going to turn it off so you can hear me. And now we're going to transfer the cooked salmon patties over onto a plate that's lined with paper towels. You can see that it's nicely cooked on both sides. That's what we want. Now, some of them, if they look like they're a little on the light side, you could always cook those a little longer. And just the residual heat from the cast iron skillet is probably going to be enough to cook those a little more. And just let these cool for just a little bit, just to help them firm up as they sit before serving. And the finishing touch is to arrange them with a little lettuce on a platter. I think that always looks pretty with the dipping sauce right there in the middle. Remember, we eat with our eyes first, guys, so we gotta make it beautiful. And I forgot to mention that while they're still warm, I like to sprinkle them with a little bit of salt. We didn't use too much salt on the mixture, so we can afford to just sprinkle with a little bit, and I think that really adds a touch to fried foods. Just gonna slice up a little fresh lemon also. I think that always looks nice. Fresh chopped parsley adds a touch. So there you have it, easy and delicious salmon patties that you can easily pack into your kids' lunch, or you can enjoy for dinner or even a snack. And by the way, if you want to make a vegetarian version of these, just substitute the salmon with mashed cooked chickpeas. To make our salmon salad, I'm going to use this fillet of frozen salmon. It just really comes in handy to keep stocked in your freezer, or if you prefer, you can use more of the canned salmon. But this cooks up in about 7 minutes, and I'll show you how I make it on the stove. So I thawed the piece of salmon overnight in the refrigerator, or you can take the frozen fillet and just put it in some water and let it thaw out. That way too, that helps to speed along the thawing process if you just let it sit in some water at room temperature just for maybe 5 or so minutes. Then you can put it in the refrigerator to thaw the rest of the way. Anyway, you could probably Google how to properly thaw fish, but those are just some quick tips. And now that it is thawed out, I gave it a quick rinse under running cool water, dabbed it off with a paper towel to get off the excess moisture, and just kind of salting and peppering both sides. And in the meantime, I'm heating up my skillet over medium heat, and I'm going to put some high heat cooking oil in there, either some coconut oil or some avocado oil. All right, so I put my avocado oil in there, and it's heating up pretty quickly because the pan was hot already. I'm going to put this in with the flesh side down for about 5 minutes. I like to set a timer so I don't forget about it. 4 to 5 minutes on one side, and then 2 to 3 minutes on the other side. A total of about 7 minutes should do it. Now, if you're concerned about the oil cooking off, you can always add a little splash of broth if you like. Now cook it on the other side for a few more minutes. Once your salmon is done cooking, you can let it cool. This is a little hot to handle, but Just to give you an idea of what you want to do to prepare it for the salmon salad is you'll be peeling off the skin, unless you like the skin. If you want to keep the skin in there, by all means do that. I just find that a little strong tasting, so we're taking that off. And here too, a lot of people might like to eat the fat, but I find it really fishy tasting, so I'm taking that off as well. Now you're probably going to need a couple pieces like this. If you're using the 4-ounce frozen fillets, you will need 2 of those because we need 8 ounces of cooked salmon. Ooh, that's a nice little crispy part there. And there you go. You know, this is a great substitute for tuna in this salad, just for variety, and kids tend to really enjoy it just like they would tuna salad. And of course, for kids or really anyone, you want to look through carefully for bones. Make sure there's no bones in here. Once your salmon is all mixed up, we're going to add the other ingredients. I have 2 tablespoons of chopped celery, 1 tablespoon of chopped onion, 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice, a little salt and pepper, 2 teaspoons of fresh dill, and 1/3 cup of avocado mayo. Now feel free to tweak this to your taste buds if you want to add capers or chopped parsley or a little extra mayo. Just feel free to adapt it to your taste buds. All these ingredients really come together to make a nice flavorful version of salmon that kids will really enjoy in their school lunch. Now comes the fun part. Here I have a plate full of washed radicchio leaves, or you can use butter lettuce, any kind of lettuce cups, and we're going to fill these with a little bit of the salmon mixture. The nice thing about radicchio or endive leaves is that they're so sturdy, so it really will not get soggy or anything once you pack it in your child's lunch until lunchtime. So that just makes a nice little wrap up that they're sure to enjoy. So the only downside to the radicchio is it is a little bitter. So if your child doesn't like the taste of radicchio, just go with the butter lettuce. You can see how a few of these packed up for lunch really makes a nice, nutritious, and filling school lunch. So last but not least, we're going to make some veggies and a nice healthy dip in the form of guacamole. So I've got some carrots, which I cut up into nice flat and wide batons that are perfect for dipping. Some broccoli spears, and I also peeled the broccoli stem so that we can use these as a crudité. And then I have all my ingredients for the guacamole, which is avocado, some salt and pepper, a little chopped cilantro over here, chopped onion, and a little fresh lime juice. So instead of just serving the veggies raw, we're going to parboil them in some water. I've got a few inches of water coming to a boil here. Then I have this all set up and ready to go. It's just a strainer. You can use a slotted spoon. I'm using, in this case, something called a spider. And also a bowl to catch the water after I take the veggies out. So once you get a good boil going here, you can add a little pinch of salt. That helps to retain the color and the flavor of the vegetables. Just like you would boil pasta, we're just boiling the vegetables until they're soft enough that you think your child will enjoy them, but we don't want to get them soggy. We want them maybe a little bit more on the crisp, tender side. So generally, you know, a few minutes or so should do it. So when they're ready, you're just going to take them out, put them in your strainer basket to cool, and then you can run them under cold water if you want to cool them off quickly, or you can just let them cool down naturally. Let the water come back to a boil and then put in your carrots. You just don't want to boil all the vegetables at once because it brings the temperature of the water down too low and then they can it can adversely affect the cooking of your vegetables. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and prepare our guacamole. First, you'll just want to mash up your avocado. And as you might know, it's an art choosing an avocado that's ripe enough to be soft, but not too ripe. I can't tell you the number of avocados I've thrown in the garbage. Gonna add my salt and pepper. And that's just to taste. For a small batch like this, for just one avocado, maybe like half a teaspoon of salt and a few grains of fresh black pepper. And just about a teaspoon or so of lime juice. You can use more if you like. This is about a tablespoon of chopped onion, and I think that was 2 teaspoons or so of chopped cilantro. And there you go, a flavorful, nutritious source of good fats, a great dip to go along with our simple carrot and broccoli. So now you have a couple different container options. You could get a stainless steel container like this. Huss Kitchen is the brand that makes this one. Or you could just use a plastic container and a little smaller container for your dip to put within that, and then arrange the vegetables around it. But today I'm going to go with the stainless steel container. These vegetables have been well drained, I should say, as well. You don't want soggy, wet vegetables going in there. And it just looks really cute and colorful and visually appealing for kids. It just makes eating veggies more fun for them and more tasty looking. So now we're going to put the dip in here. This could either be hummus if you like, or in this case, our dip is this nice guacamole. So there you go with our 3 different delicious lunch options for our kids. Salmon patties with dill sauce, variation of salmon to make salmon salad in lettuce or radicchio cups, and some blanched crudités, broccoli and carrots with a little guacamole. Of course, the veggies with the guacamole is more of a snack to go along with one of the protein options here. I hope you enjoyed these ideas for delicious and nutritious options for your child's school lunch. Let me know in the comments what your favorite lunch recipe is. And if you found this video helpful, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. That gives me great feedback on what kind of content you want to see on here. And when you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll find out about new cooking videos when they come out. Thanks for watching, and see you the next time.